Hello and welcome as we continue our descent down the Western Conference standings from last year, looking at preseason outlooks. Only a few more teams to go. We only have 10 days now before regular season tips off. And today we land on your Los Angeles Lakers. Seem to always be in the headlines, of course, when you have LeBron James on your team. That tends to be the way it goes. Obviously, Russell Westbrook and the circus that surrounds him has already had a few new chapters as we've gone through this entire offseason. Trade rumors, mostly with Indiana in terms of Buddy Hield, Miles Turner. Would Rob Pelinka and company be willing to include 2 first-round picks in order to facilitate that deal? Seemed like the answer was no. Looked like it got close, but didn't happen. And, you bring in a new coach in Darvin Ham. Seeing how he can kind of operate here now and use what is on this roster. Now Patrick Beverley is introduced to that locker room and that team in a trade for, Talon Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson. And here we are again. I don't think generally we're optimistic about the Lakers. I think you can be cautiously in a way that now there are steps in which this team is different. Now, just today, Rob Pelinka agreed to a contract extension with the Lakers, which I think is a little bit of a head-scratcher. Obviously a lot of elements go into kind of the moves Rob Pelinka made in his tenure there. LeBron James being a major influence in terms of kind of the mentality. Obviously, you want to win now. You want to maximize his career, especially now that he's on the back end of it. So that obviously, incentivized Pelinka to go and, in retrospect, probably overpay for Anthony Davis. It did get them the championship, but then, the Russell Westbrook trade basically breaks up. You lose your depth, you lose assets. And Russell Westbrook, of course, did not really fit last season, whether, they can find a way to get him either to take on a different role or he figures out some way to just be a better basketball player in terms of shooting the ball better, making better decisions with the basketball in terms of shooting and passing. And whether Anthony Davis can be healthy because, for as much as LeBron may have created problems from a roster standpoint, he's been pretty solid when on the court. And really, Russ played, if anything, he was healthy last year and played a ton of games, so he showed up. You cannot, give him any shit for that. Anthony Davis is a different story in terms of just getting him healthy. Obviously, we know what he can be when he's at the top of his game. It just feels like we haven't seen it from him. Already sitting out preseason games due to lower back tightness, presuming that's pretty, just to be cautious. But obviously not good right out the gate to have something on the injury report for Anthony Davis because this seems like a season where we don't know how much LeBron has left. Obviously he's fallen out of the best player in the league conversation, but still, pretty much cemented in the top 10. And can he continue to be that guy as he goes into his late 30s? It seems improbable. Especially to carry a team now that still does not have the kind of depth and strength in specific roles that you'd want for a team that's going to, try and win a championship. I mean, you look at some of the other signings in terms of, using the MLE on Lonnie Walker, I think is kind of a bit of a dice roll in terms of you don't know what he could be. He's on the younger side. What does he look like? You have Wenyen Gabriel. Like, there's some guys in here you're probably going to play some minutes that you're like, I don't know if I trust them come playoff time. I don't know. You bring Dennis Schroeder back, could give you something there. Patrick Beverley, I think, makes a lot of sense for them in trying to get that kind of gritty mindset, kind of have a chip on your shoulder, give them something to play for, something to fire them up and kind of get them out of sometimes. You get in that funk where Russ is taking bad shots. Anthony Davis is in street clothes. LeBron's forcing the issue. Or you just kind of get lackadaisical defensively. Patrick Beverley hopefully can snap them out of it when need be. But in a West that is going to be pretty competitive outside of the few teams now tanking for, the French prospect Victor Wembanyama. Never know if I'm going to say that right. Can't really say it with any confidence. The Lakers find themselves like maybe in like outside the play-in discussion, but probably in that sort of, obviously health is a major concern. And we don't think, to keep it simple, if Anthony Davis is not healthy, this team has no shot of making a championship run. And then you look at the chances of Anthony Davis being healthy. Even if he is healthy, you're looking at a team with, not the highest ceiling and just not the most talented, not the most deep teams. Austin Reeves, great piece. Seems like he might take another step in terms of facilitating, being a high energy guy, shooting the basketball as well. Already like what we've seen from him in the preseason. Brought back Thomas Bryant. Maybe he could be, provide some depth at center. It's just kind of like this is now what the Lakers do. They have all these kind of vet minimum guys that you kind of bring in, and it speaks to the importance, I've said this before, of continuity from season to season, where it seems like it's been a revolving door in certain roles for these Lakers. And, sometimes LeBron's been able to pull that off, because he has that win now mentality, all about improving the roster. But what you sacrifice is that continuity, having lineups with guys who have played with each other for multiple years, that understand each other defensively, they're able to communicate with each other. That's something that the Lakers just have not had in, recent memory. Let's see now with Westbrook in year 2, maybe they can figure some things out and he can kind of fill out his role better. Obviously now he's kind of, Pat Bev and Schroeder might be able to cover up some of his shortcomings. None of them can really shoot the ball at a high level and a high volume. In general, this team doesn't seem to be able to probably shoot very well around the perimeter, and LeBron's historically been really good when you kind of, surround him with shooters, with your Ray Allens and your Kyle Korvers, Kyrie Irvings, guys who can shoot the ball from the outside. Still missing that, but I think this team will be more competitive than last year. Hopefully they can stay healthy. I think it's better for the league when the Lakers are, better. Just as a flagship franchise, it is what it is. I'm from Boston, don't appreciate that, but I think it's true in that, it's probably better when the Lakers are going to be in the headlines either way. Might as well have them be good. Be curious to see what Darvin Ham does with this squad. Let me know what you think, where the Lakers end up in the standings this year. Be curious to hear, but that's going to do it for me. Take it easy, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.